morning. I've asked Dr. Glenn, our coroner, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the February 19th Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as chair of the Board of County Commissioners, also representing District 2. Joining me today is Commissioner Bob Archer, representing District 3, and Commissioner Shelley Bueller, representing District 1. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning. Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could start with the first item.
First item is item 2, unfinished business. Number 1, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number HR 2015-3, establishing fees for the coroner's office.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jonathan Berzon, Assistant County Counselors. As stated in my memo, this is a change to our current fee resolution. It adds a couple of new fees. The coroners here would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions regarding the requested changes to the fee structure? I'll make a motion to, is there anybody wishing to speak?
Thank you for the opportunity to appear today. I am Pam Scott. I'm Executive Director of the Kansas Funeral Directors Association. And we have a few concerns concerning this resolution. Number one, we don't feel like the fee, the way the resolution is worded, we don't think the fee should be the responsibility of the funeral home because the funeral home did not order the transportation in this case. We feel like the fee should be passed on to the family or the person responsible for disposition of the body, just like any other disposition costs are done. We have to collect fees for the services we provide. That's just another service. But we don't have any problem assisting the coroner in collecting these fees from the families. We routinely do this with flowers for the family, the ministers, cemetery costs. These are called cash advance items. And but we don't feel like if we cannot collect these from the family, if you have a family that's not even paying for our service, we shouldn't have, the funeral home should not have out-of-pocket costs to pay for these services. So in a lot of these cases, it's probable that it may be a situation where there's no family member taking responsibility for the body, and that's why it gets to the coroner's office. So therefore, the family is not taking responsibility either because they have no money or possibly because they're estranged and they can't all agree on what funeral home to send the body to. So we do have trouble collecting a lot of those situations. We believe also, if possible, we'd like to suggest that the coroner's office obtain a written statement when they go to pick up the body that the family or person understands that there will be a charge for the transportation fee, just to clear up any questions that might come up once we get the body and try to charge for these charges. So I'd like to say that Dr. Glenn has been very helpful and cooperative with us working on this, and I do have on the second page of my testimony some language that I think is agreeable to Dr. Glenn that we think would clarify number 4 on the non-coroner case transportation fee. So we'd like to suggest that language, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And this is a matter that you have had a chance to speak to Dr. Glenn
Correct.
about in trying to come to a resolution between the funeral homes and the coroner's
Correct.
office. Okay. Are there any questions for Ms. Scott?
No, I have none. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam, for speaking up. The intention of the part 4 is to do just that, is to pass on some of these fees to the family. We thought we would work through the funeral home, and I think the suggestion she has for language that would protect them and also accomplish the same goals is appropriate.
Are there any questions for Dr. Glenn regarding change? Okay.
No.
If our county counselor, just assistant county counselor, could weigh in for just a second. Will the proposed change on section number 4 have any detrimental impact to the county at all? Or
It's going to make it just a little bit harder to collect, but right now, it's almost impossible to collect, so
so the change would be negligible?
I think so.
So it'll be more impossible.
It's impossible, and it'll be slightly less impossible, probably.
So we need a motion to amend as per the language in the letter.
Second.
There's been a motion to amend the proposed resolution to reflect the language contained within the testimony of Ms. Scott. There's been a motion made and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
And I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Now, and that was when, with this was a second reading, and with the change now to the resolution, we can go ahead and move
Yes.
forward? All
Yeah,
right, let's do it.
everyone's had notice of this hearing, so.
All right. And there's a motion to adopt the resolution as amended.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you,
you. And thank you, Dr. Glenn and Ms. Scott. Next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or concerns regarding the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
There are vouchers totaling $1,438,789.76. Of those, capers with the largest amount, $304,083.21. The equipment fund, $277,109.00. And special assessment, $158,259.69. And I see no issues with the vouchers, and I'll move approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller to
Second.
approve,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller to approve the correction orders, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item B, County Councilor. Number 1, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution Number HR 2015-4, first reading, establishing a 9-ton weight limit for the Northwest Carlton Road Willard Bridge over the Kansas River.
Again, Commissioners, this is a first reading on for notice purposes. It's a home rule resolution. Whenever you set the next hearing, we can have a further discussion of it, but if you have any questions now, I'd be glad to answer them. I would point out that we've had multiple discussions about the fine schedule and how we assess fines. What we found is that the state of Kansas has set a uniform chart that tells us how much we can charge, so we really can't make it any more punitive than what the state of Kansas has already decided.
Are there any questions for the county councilor regarding the resolution?
No, I have none.
I might note that in preparation of this item, and I'm sure we'll discuss this at the second reading as well, we have articles with the Capital Journal that go back to 2007 discussing the different weight limits that have been imposed upon the Willard Bridge. In fact, there was an article from 2007 that has a picture of Tom Vlock, our Public Works Director, and Rich Eckert at the legislature, talking with them. In fact, this is an issue that's been going on since Rich Eckert had hair. I might add, in 2007, I had hair too. But this is an issue that has been ongoing, and it does reflect the state of the bridge of where we're at today, and the emergencies and the actions that are needed by the county. And
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
just might add that I appreciate the Sheriff's Office and their cooperation. I know there's been a number of meetings between your staff and Public Works and the Sheriff's Office, so I appreciate their assistance with this also.
Commissioners, Tom Blanc with Public Works. I just want to make one comment regarding this. One of the reasons why we are wanting to do just a one weight limit, amount, is in our discussions, we've been having some discussions with the Sheriff's Office, and the difficulty they've indicated they've had is really when We have different weight limits in determining what kind of truck is a certain 3/8 truck or a 3/2S truck. They really have, struggle in determining which kind of truck is which and how, and which weight limit applies to that certain type of truck. So, and the reason we are wanting to do this is really just to make the enforcement of it much easier. So when they see, if they see a semi or they see a certain type of truck, they automatically know that that will not make the 9-ton limit, and takes the question out for them of is it or is it not overweight. So that's really the reasoning behind this.
Thank you. And again, we will have a second reading and at that point discuss the passage of the resolution. But are there any members of the public that wish to speak at this point on the proposed resolution? I would make a motion to schedule the second reading of the resolution so that there can be adequate notice to the public for the Thursday, the 26th, which is a week from today, as opposed to Monday, just so that there is the opportunity for the public to review the proposed weight limits, weigh in at that time on them. And that would be a motion to defer till the 26th.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to schedule the second reading for the resolution for February the 26th, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item C, Bond Council, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2015-14, authorizing an acquisition and installation under lease purchase structure financing for the addition to the jail for a new kitchen and food service area and improving its shower facilities, Kansas Expo Center improvements, deferred maintenance improvements, and various parks and recreation improvements.
Good morning, Bob Perry. This would authorize the execution and delivery of a lease purchase agreement and a trust agreement, which would effectuate the issuance of certificates of participation in a principal amount of $17,500,000. The breakdown of the cost is the jail, kitchen, shower improvement is about $4 million, deferred maintenance about $1 million, the Expo Center risers, which are about $500,000, a 15% contingency reserve in anticipation of some unanticipated costs of $2,625,000, and then $9,375,000 for Parks and Rec, which breaks down generally for about $1 million to the Dornward Park, some aquatic center for $7 million, and then there's miscellaneous others, that trails and some other things that John has identified at $1,375,000.
Are there any questions for Bond Council regarding this item?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, I would like to make a motion to amend the resolution. I think we can do that at this time. But a motion to amend the resolution to read the addition of construction phase 1 of the Northwest Carlson Road Bridge project, an additional issue of $7 million, which would bring it from 17.5 to 24.5, and that is a motion.
There's a motion to amend the amount to reflect an additional $7 million. Is there a second for the motion? That motion dies for a lack of a second.
Mr. Chairman, I have another amendment. I would move to amend the resolution to read in page 1, the second whereas, remove item D, which reads the constructing and equipping of an aquatic center, and replace it with the language of construction, phase 1, replacement of the Northwest Carlson Road Bridge. And that is my motion.
There's a motion by Commissioner Bueller to amend the resolution as presented for section D. Is there a second for that motion? That motion dies for a lack of second as well. And I might just take a moment, and I had planned on discussing this at a later point, but to express it today. It's not that I have any disagreement with the need for the replacement of the Willard Bridge or the support of the replacement of the Willard Bridge, but rather that this bonding device is for a set of items that we have that are at this point to prepare, and I think that remains a question at this point as it relates to the Willard Bridge, what assistance, if any, we would have from our federal or state partners, as well as any financing that may become available through either of those entities. And until we have a little bit better question on that financing or participation, the actual amount that we need for the Willard Bridge remains a question. And I hope that we would be able to have that answered in very short order. And if need be, and this is a question to our bond counsel, would we be able to effectuate a second bond or another bond for a construction project at a later point?
Yes, there's a statute that I think fits real well. It's KSA 681103, which allows for the issuance of general obligation bonds for the replacement of a bridge, repair, reconstruction. And the bonds would not be subject to any bonded indebtedness within that statutory scheme. There's several others that are available, but that one's pretty straightforward.
So that may be a more appropriate bonding device for the bridge construction than this that's before us today.
That's really your decision, Kevin.
Okay. Right. But it would be a separate
Yes.
device.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I respectfully disagree. The fact sheet for the Willard Bridge, as you mentioned earlier, here's the fact sheet from 2007, and here's the fact sheet from 2015. And it's getting worse. There's a sense of urgency. We just received the report. Our federal government is going to look and see that we issued bonds for a swimming pool, and yet we are not going to at least get started on this bridge. $7 million would get us started right now, and it would complete phase one. We would then get to the end of 2016. That would then, that's when the $6 million kicks in for the excess sales tax, and then also the $10 million, hopefully, for the new sales tax. But if we wait until the end of 2016 to issue any money for this bridge, we're looking 4 years out because it's a 2-year construction. So I respectfully disagree. I think things have changed. I've been privy to this discussion on the COP for a long time as well, but we have a sense of urgency, and it is our responsibility. And until somebody tells me otherwise, this bridge is the responsibility of Shawnee County. And it not only serves just one community, but connects Highway 24 to I-70. And in preparation of this meeting, and I think in preparation on the 26th, when we get the briefing from Public Works, we have a project timeline. We've already spent $850,000 on this bridge from current sales tax. We have phase one, phase two, and phase three almost completed with design. We are ready for this project. And so I'm gonna vote against this issuing of the COP, even though there are things in there that I know we need to do, but I also know we need to start on this bridge. We have no design plans for a pool. I have no project budget for a pool. I have everything right here that we need to get started on a bridge. And so I'll respectfully disagree, and I know there's going to be more discussion about this, but I need to bring this to the light of the public. And there are people there's not any place in Rossville, Silver Lake, or Northwest Shawnee County that I don't get asked, what do we need to do? So I am encouraging anybody in that community and anybody who uses the Willard Bridge, you need to contact this office and make sure that our commission knows that this is a priority. And I know that there's been additional letters sent to our state representatives. I know there's additional letters going today to our federal delegation, but we cannot wait any longer. And so I'll respectfully disagree. That's the reason for my 2 motions. That is all.
I might add, in December of 2007, Tom Block and Rich Eckert had gone to the legislature, and at that time, there was discussion by Representative Annie Keither if the update could wait until the legislature takes up the next 10-year highway plan in 2 years. And at that time, Tom Block is quoted as saying, yes, the state could wait, but stressed the bridge structural integrity was in question. That's from 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And the state asked us to wait 2 more years. In 2007 is when this commission passed a resolution paying $150,000 for the second phase. That was in 2007, 8 years ago. And so for 8 years, this commission was unable to secure from our federal partners, our state partners, any assistance for this bridge. 8 years. And the reasoning that had been presented was that we had not reached that point of deterioration, that it had become a urgent priority. It wasn't until a month ago, and not even a month ago, that we now have that urgent priority that unfortunately our federal partners and state partners have been waiting on. We're at that urgent priority now. And we have talked about and have received information, as you have relayed to us, everything from 0% interest to possible participation on a federal or state level. And until we know what we have, and I'm not saying that we wait till the end of 2016, I'm not even saying we wait till the end of 2015, but until we get just a little bit more information back, a yes or a no, and sometimes that's hard to get from our federal or state partners, a hard yes or no, I have a question that remains as to what is the appropriate amount to get this project moving forward for that final phase. Commissioner Archer, is there anything?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the resolution
Is
as
there any
presented.
comment, public comment?
I would ask, is there any public comment on the proposed resolution for bond indebtedness at this time? Seeing none, I would make a second for the resolution. All in favor of the resolution, say aye. Opposed? Show that it passes 2-1. Commissioner Bueller
Yes, dissenting.
dissented. Thank you. Our next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-75-2015 with Bartlett and West for construction engineering services for the Southwest 29th Street, Southwest Indian Hills to Canic Chase project in amount of $324,949.84.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Blanc, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. And as you're aware, we are gearing up for the reconstruction of Southwest 29th Street between Urish and Indian Hills. This contract before you with Bartlett and West is for the construction engineering services, which includes administration and the inspection and materials testing. This contract falls in line with previous contracts we've had for these services for these types of projects. So it's our recommendation that this contract be approved. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. And also, this is intended to begin in March and then end in November, December timeframe.
Is there any questions regarding this request?
Motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider approval of request to award the bid for purchase of 2 single-axle dump trucks and appurtenances in a total amount of $278,738.
Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This too is a Public Works item, and as noted, we went out for bid for these 2 dump trucks as part of the capital equipment purchase program, and we received 6 different bids from 5 different vendors. And our recommendation is to award the bid to Kansas City Freightliner for the amount of $278,738. We believe that was the best overall bid based on their history of a very good service after the fact, after the purchase. I do want to point out that previously the Commission had authorized the Public Works Department to spend up to $300,000 for capital equipment, which included the purchase of previously we purchased a trench compactor for like $33,000. And this amount at $278,000 brought the total up to $311,747. Now, that did not include, we did not include trade-ins on this particular purchase. We were planning, and we think we can get more money to trade in or sell the two replacement vehicles on Purple Wave. So we are anticipating the amount we will get from that will be more than enough to get us back below the 300,000. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Until that happens, we are actually above the 300,000 that was previously approved. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them.
Are there any questions regarding this requested expenditure? I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item E, corrections. Number 1, consider approval of request to post and fill one vacant custodian position in an amount, including benefits, of $31,149.26.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. Before you today is a request to post and fill a vacant position, a custodial position at the Department of Corrections. We did have, the reason this position is vacant is we did have a vacant maintenance position that somebody within who was previously a custodian qualified for the position and was selected. So this was a promotion within inside the Department of Corrections, which now leaves the custodian position vacant. The sanitation and cleanliness of the Department of Corrections is a very high priority for us. It goes right along with our audits and our compliance with state accreditations, and that this is a vital part of our mission at the Department of Corrections. We do have other custodians, but to have them do this would create a lot of overtime, which we're using right now to get the whole entire department, which includes the annex to Juvenile Department of Corrections. I have met with Human Resources regarding this position and had their blessings, so I'm here before you today. And the money we do have is budgeted in the funds we have for this, is in our current budget.
Are there any questions for Director Cole regarding this request?
Motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item F, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C76-2015 with Voice Products for annual maintenance for 5 years of the NICE telephone recorder in an amount of $10,000 per year.
Morning, Commissioner. Lance Royer with the Sheriff's Office. I got our annual contract with Voice Products for this recorder, which is our telephone recorder in the 911 center, which was $13,000. I negotiated with them a deal for a 5-year contract locked in at $10,000. So literally, this contract's really been going up $1,000 each year, so I saved the county a little bit of money over the next 5 years. So.
And we have satisfaction with this product?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Are there any questions regarding the request?
Move approval of the contract.
I'll second. Motion made by Commissioner Bueller to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much. Okay, next item, please.
Item G, Commission. Number 1, consider approval of request to fill the soon-to-be vacated position of Office Assistant Grant Specialist position in the Commission office in a total amount of $32,710, including benefits.
Might note that Stephanie Mott has been the Office Assistant Grant Specialist for the last 5.5 years, and I know that in my time on the Commission, I've appreciated all of her hard work and dedication that she has provided to this office. Very professional, and it's sad to see her depart and leave, but I understand that she has other opportunities and moving forward, and wish her the best of luck in those endeavors. But that does create a vacancy within our office, and this would be a motion by myself to fill that position. Are there any additional comments?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to fill the Office Assistant Grant Specialist position, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Stephanie Mott, Office Assistant, Shawnee County Commission Office. Thank you. Have a couple of announcements about Project Topeka. As you can see, we have a wonderful collection of items for the auction, which starts next Monday at 8 a.m. and ends next Friday at noon. So we're looking forward. We're going to have a very successful auction. I mean, you can just tell by the wonderful stuff that's been donated, and thanks to everybody who's worked hard to make that possible. Tomorrow at the jail, they're having the food day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For $5, you have a meal choice of a fish sandwich with chips, a drink, and a dessert, or 4 beef tacos, a drink and a dessert for $5, and that's outside. It's the ADC front lobby, not outside. Also, that's cold outside. Also, the Project Topeka raffles that the Public Works Department is putting on are still ongoing, and they will be here in the courthouse on the 25th from 11 to 1, selling tickets, suggested donation of 2 tickets for $1 or 1 non-perishable food item. And we have the Jeans Day coming up on the County Commission meeting for a week from today on the 26th. And the food sculpture contest is still going. The notice of entry is due by Tuesday next week at noon. That's it.
Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Commissioners, Tom Vlog again, the Public Works and Solid Waste. Last weekend at the Expo Center, they had the Lawn and Garden Show, and each year Shawnee County Solid Waste has a booth there to help educate folks about recycling and things like that. This year, we, in an effort to promote some educational things, we asked people as they walk by if they were interested in entering a chance to win a free year's worth of trash and recycling service, and if they did put their name in, we'd give them a sheet of paper with a quiz, an environmental quiz with 10 questions, and so we have several hundred names in this hub here that I would like Commissioner Cook as the chair to do the drawing, and hopefully we'll do a drawing here and we'll go back and verify that the person actually is our customer or will become our customer. And if they don't, I may be back for another drawing later. I will mix them up.
Vida Walker.
All right, very good. Vida Walker. We will contact her and hopefully we'll be able to, or we will, if she's our customer, we will give her a year's worth of free trash and recycling. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Good.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. I want to take this opportunity to provide public notice of a significant change to our motor vehicle registration renewal process. Effective as early as April renewals, the Kansas Department of Revenue has notified us that they will no longer be sending out renewal notices. They are, in fact, going to substitute a postcard as a reminder to renew with instructions on how to obtain that information on the cost yourself, either through the web or by calling their office. I have not seen the postcard, so I really don't know the format, so I can't fully gauge what the impact might be. In Shawnee County, we do over 200,000 renewals a year. So this impacts approximately 100,000 taxpayers. I would think at the very least, in the beginning, there will be some confusion and has high potential to cause long lines and phone backups at our office. I would certainly think that there would be an increase in delinquencies because people will forget They're used to getting the reminder. There is no law that says we have to remind them, but we have done that traditionally. I want to assure the public that this was not a decision made by Shawnee County or any county for that matter. It was a decision made solely by the Kansas Department of Revenue. They did not request any input or comments from county treasurers. This was done to help their budget situation over there. I would also like to assure the Shawnee County folks that we have already started taking action to try to work through this. We think there will be some chaos, but we're going to do everything in our power to avoid long lines, or to at least reduce the lines. I would anticipate that this may cost Shawnee County somewhere between $30,000 and $100,000 a year to make up for that lack of notification. Until I see the renewal postcard and gauge the reaction of the public, I will really not know what that's going to cost us. But I would assure you, we're going to take this opportunity to work through this. We're going to approach this with a positive attitude, and once we get through the initial chaos of confusion, because it is a major change, we see the potential that maybe we can actually provide better service to our customers. So I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions for the treasurer regarding this item?
Just one, Larry, you may not know this, but the state didn't make any attempt to try to do email notification or any other alternate notification electronically. They just went straight to this postcard. Do you know?
The state did not contact the treasurers in any way, shape, or
Don't
form.
know.
They just informed us that they, as of April, they would be sending the postcard. They have not given us a copy of the postcard. So we're on our own. I'm in the dark just like you are at this point.
Okay.
But we have taken some action. We've researched on what it would take to do our own renewals.
Yeah.
Johnson County does that. I would anticipate if we were to go so far as to mail our own renewals, it would cost us somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000 a year in postage and printing cost. I've assured the IT folks at Shawnee County that we're not going to rely on them to do it. There are vendors who do that for Johnson County. They've proven that they can do it. The state provides a file each month, and we would utilize the work that Johnson County has done to use that same file so that we wouldn't have to recreate the wheel. This is not something we like. We're not looking forward to it, but I think if we work at it and we listen to what the public feedback that we get, we have the potential to maybe come out of this better than we were before. But I would anticipate that we're going to at least have a few months here where our lines are going to be longer, and we're going to have more delinquencies, and we're going to have some unhappy people because of they've forgotten to renew, and they're going to get a ticket. We'll do our best to remind folks, and we're just going to have to play this as it rolls out.
And I might note that this, oftentimes we have obligations that are placed upon us by a higher entity, whether it's the state or federal governments, and sometimes it's outside of the control of the local or county governments, and so this would be one example to where this is not a policy or a procedure that's being instituted by our treasurer's office. Our treasurer's just responding to those things that are outside of our power. And so I wanted to thank you for your work that you've done, and I know that your office is cut out for it, as you have been able to reduce the lines in the past, and so I trust that you'll be able to work through this as it emerges.
Well, I'm very proud of my staff, and I know that we're going to figure this out, and we're going to make lemonade out of this lemon.
Again, the effective date, Larry?
I'm told as early as the May renewals. The March renewals are already out.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to send April renewals. They should be coming out this week. If they are, they may not do that, but certainly there will be no May renewals according to the notification we received yesterday.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals that wishing to speak for administrative communications?
Beulah?
I did have one item. The Dover community is having their annual fire district chili dinner on Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock, going till 7.
Great. Commissioner Archer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know you'll talk more about our appearance at the circus last night for the Shriners, and it was the 75th anniversary, and a good time was had by all. Since Ally's here, I wanted to confess that I got a speeding ticket. I was going 58 in a 45 mile an hour zone. It was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and it was April 10th, 1978. And that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I might add that I had a barking dog ticket that I paid. You know, as we're going, and that's my criminal past. So, as it's relevant.
Speeding ticket in Silver Lake, so yeah.
So, Commissioner Archer and I had an opportunity last night to have a ceremony celebrating the 75th Shriners Circus with the Hammonds. 76th for Topeka, but 75th with the same company and the Hammond family. All the work that the Shriners do with the Children's Hospital, working with the children across the state and across the country. It was a very nice celebration to attend. They had a picture with the mayor, Commissioner Archer, and myself, and the clowns. It might be difficult to distinguish who are the clowns, but it was a fine celebration nonetheless. And so I wanted to thank them for all they do in the Expo Center as well. I know that we have a representative from the Expo Center, but the Expo Center is able to host that event, and it just showcases the need for our community to have such a venue such as the Expo Center, and look forward to improving it in the upcoming future. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session regarding personnel matters of a non-elected personnel as we continue with our department head evaluations. I would move that we recess until 11 o'clock to go into executive session, I'm sorry, to 10 o'clock to go into executive session to tell 11:45 as we have in the past.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? We are in recess to go into executive session at 10 o'clock.